Focus stories 4 times now, but for the moment, let's shift our attention now to Sri Lanka, where Prime Minister Modi is going to be leaving shortly. He's currently in Anuradhapura, and this is a very significant pilgrimage site for Buddhists. The Prime Minister is currently there at the spot. So, significant visit of the Prime Minister, and my colleague Vashini is joining us live on the broadcast with the details. Vashini, we are seeing visuals on the screens. The Prime Minister, as we've spoken time and again, also taps into the cultural heritage of the countries that he visits, and currently in Sri Lanka we're seeing the visuals of the Prime Minister at Anuradhapura. Take us through the significance, the cultural significance of the site.
Definitely, yes, Pradeepa. Right now, this is very important to note because the town Anuradhapura is very considered as a very historical and a very holy place by the Sri Lankans here. Mainly because their history tells them that they believe that, Anuradhapura is the place where Lord Buddha traveled from India to Sri Lanka, and this is where he was, and this is where he went into penance, and this is that is why they find this particular place completely holy. And here is this beautiful temple called Mahabodhi, where there is an enormously beautiful and tall statue of Lord Buddha where people come to worship. And also what is important to note right now is not just this heritage site, but also Sri Lankans strongly believe that India is where Buddhism came from. Their God was itself gifted by India is what they believe, and that is why the Indian-Sri Lankan relationship is very vital at this point. And our Prime Minister visiting this temple, taking the blessings of the head monks there and offering prayers to Lord Buddha is something that is a very, very important moment in the historic relationship that India and Sri Lanka shares. And like you can see, he's along with the President of Sri Lanka, Anuradhapura, and he's offering prayers and taking blessings from the head monks there. He's visiting this Mahabodhi temple, and he's also, there is this huge tree, Bodhi tree, which Sri Lankans believe that was, implanted here by bringing a leaflet, a seed from the original tree in Bodh Gaya, and that is a part of the original tree from which Buddhism evolved, is what the Sri Lankans believe. Therefore, that is why Anuradhapura is a town which is of very much importance historically, culturally, and about the relationship and the ties that they have with India. And it is very, a sweet gesture that they are, feeling. Like when we were trying to talk to the public here and understand the emotion, they say that the Prime Minister's visit makes them feel much more closer to the country, much more closer to the birthplace of their God, and that is why they feel it is a very special day. And following that, he will be immediately arriving at this Anuradhapura railway station, where he will be flagging off this railway project that we've been talking about, which is completely funded by the government of India as a line of credit for the complete renovation and restructuring of this particular railway line that runs from Maho to Omentai, and also the new signaling project that was also built by the grants that was given by India, and this project was also built from Anuradhapura to Maho. Therefore, it is very, very important that the Prime Minister himself inaugurates it for the Sri Lankans here. Therefore, they will also be able to extend their gratitude to the Indian Prime Minister who made this possible. Like he mentioned, India will be continuing to support Sri Lanka in its process of restructuring, and that is what we are witnessing today. One step at a time is what Sri Lanka is taking, and the President standing along with the Prime Minister also gives a lot of hope to the people, in hopes of how their future could get better with the help of India. And that is what we are witnessing today, Pratibha.
Okay, so Anuradhapura hosts some of the most holiest sites for Buddhists, and the Prime Minister is visiting Anuradhapura. In fact, it was known to be the capital of ancient Sri Lanka as well. It's dotted by ancient stupas, monasteries, relics. It is home to many famous Buddhist sites in Sri Lanka. Without a doubt, it holds a very special significance for Buddhists as well. And the Prime Minister, remember, has been talking about the significance of Buddhism. In fact, in his message to the world as well, he has been saying time and again, he has been speaking of Buddhist sayings. The Prime Minister in Thailand as well had visited one of the most significant Buddhist temples. So, Varshini, the Prime Minister is visiting some of the most holiest sites for Buddhists. We saw that during his visit in Bangkok as well, and now in Sri Lanka as well. The Prime Minister has spoken about how this is a new era for India-Sri Lanka relations, and this comes amid the fears of the Chinese influence in the region as well. You are currently at the railway station where the Prime Minister will and the Sri Lankan President will be arriving shortly. Take us through the significance of this railway station and why the Prime Minister is there. Of course, India has been a friend of Sri Lanka in its time of need during the economic crisis, helping the island nation come out of the economic crisis, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes, Pratibha. India was, in fact, the first countries to jump in and give aid to Sri Lanka when it faced the most critical financial economic crisis that, happened in 2022. And the $4 billion funds that the Prime Minister, gave Sri Lanka came in as a very huge help when Sri Lanka was going through all of that. And even the President, while his speech yesterday, spoke about how they are very thankful for this immediate help that India did, and they are, hoping that they can continue to have a very strong relationship, be it strategic or cultural or even social or indigenous relationship that already the people and the ethnicities share here with the Indian, people. Therefore, that is why, there are many projects, many MOUs being signed to ensure that this relationship is even more strengthened. And since we saw the most important 7 MOUs that got signed yesterday, today is the implement of a project that was already, signed long ago. And the implementation of such projects also gives hope to the people who are witnessing this, because now when they are seeing projects unfold in front of them that was discussed and decided long ago, it gives them a hope that the projects that have been discussed and decided yesterday would eventually come into action and that they can all benefit from it. And today's project is also very important because, like we were discussing, Anuradhapura is an extremely holy, historic and a heritage site for the people of Sri Lanka, and a train connectivity here which runs from Maho to Omandai, almost 128 kilometers and completely funded by the government of India, is what it makes it more special for the Indians who are watching this, because it not only benefits the people who are going to use this train, travel through it, but it also brings us this realization of the discussions that we are watching happening in another country unfold, which strengthens the belief that we have in the governments, and that is what we are witnessing today, because eventually what we are going to see is also about how these projects are going to increase the economy and bring in more development to Sri Lanka. And one such project is this. Since it's been fully funded by the government of India, this railway renovation and this reconstruction was all funded as a line of credit that was given by India. But the signaling system that has been constructed from Anuradhapura to Maho has been done on a grant basis, and all of this has been inaugurated today. And the Prime Minister of India as well as the President of Sri Lanka, both of them are going to be here together to show that this relationship is something that is very strong, because we also spoke about how...
In fact, we have Anuradhapura also joining us. Vashini, I request you to stay with us. Thank you for joining us. There is a very special significance that the Prime Minister has given to Buddhism as well, isn't it, Mr. Anil? I want to speak about how the Prime Minister has put Buddhism at the heart of India's foreign policy. We saw his visit in Bangkok. Here as well, the Prime Minister will be offering prayers at the Mahabodhi tree.
You are absolutely right. In fact, the Prime Minister from the early on has been helping or focusing on developing these Buddhist circuits.
Yes.
And as you know, what happened to the various religious places, whether it's Gaya or Sarnath or other places, they have been renovated. Likewise, in Nalanda University, as you are aware of, has also come up. So India, in that sense, has been focusing, because Buddhism is a great heritage. And Prime Minister, even in Sri Lanka, where he is today, Anuradhapura, has the same kind of significance. And if you remember that Emperor Ashoka's daughter had taken the Bodhi saplings and planted there during that time, so many years ago. So centuries ago, rather. So this is something that India is doing. More importantly, apart from the religious Buddhism, it's also creating the infrastructure in these areas as well as in India, so that
Yes.
more and more people can come and connect with each other. So that's what he calls as the people diplomacy. And also the religious Buddhist practice. Well, Buddhism is our great heritage and we're very proud of it. And Prime Minister Modi has been personally invested in developing these.
Absolutely. In fact, it's a very, very interesting aspect of Prime Minister Modi's diplomacy to tap into this shared heritage that India has with these countries, including what we are seeing currently in Sri Lanka as well. The visuals on the screens with the Buddhist monks, Prime Minister Modi there. In fact, just a few days ago, while he was in Bangkok as well, he had visited the Wat Phra temple. But Mr. Praggnanath, I also want to ask you on the significance of this meeting or the visit of the Prime Minister to Sri Lanka. It's a short 2-day visit, but it's been a very, very impactful one. And any mention of relations with Sri Lanka would be incomplete without the mention of the Chinese influence as well. And that has not deterred India. If anything, the Prime Minister has also spoken of how this is going to herald a new era in the ties between India and Sri Lanka.
You know, you rightly mentioned about China because Sri Lanka has been very close to, for many years under the previous regimes, to China, and they have seen what happens to when you are so close to them. The kind of dead diplomacy that has ridden them, the kind of economic distress that they had to come through, and India is the only country that came to their rescue, whether it is bilaterally providing over $4.5 billion to bail out people, providing grant assistance, oil, gas, fertilizers, food, everything supplied during this period. And so they do understand that India's benign diplomacy, its neighborhood first policy, is truly for their own advantage. And even the current president, Dissanayake, as you know, his political party was very much against India, very pro-China. But you see, since when he has become the president, India became his first port of call. He visited India first. He invited Prime Minister Modi. We had issued a joint vision document of shared future and prosperity. And that's what has been assessed now. So India has been consistently providing billions of dollars in aid, assistance for the benefit. And this time we have signed these 7 important agreements also. So this clearly indicates that India's relationship is genuine friendship and bound by history, culture, and civilization. And that's where it goes. So irrespective of the regimes that come or go, we have seen the relationship prosper, and especially we have to grant it to Prime Minister Modi also, because this is his 4th visit, not the first visit. And his first visit did not happen. I mean, there were no other visit that happened after Rajiv Gandhi's 1987 visit when we heard about it, the IPKF had gone and all. So he was the first Prime Minister of India to visit after 1987. And since then, it has been his 4th visit. In every visit, the level of relationship has been enhanced and our engagement has been enriched further.
Okay, all right. Mr. Anuradhapura, thank you for joining us on the broadcast with those details. In fact, the Prime Minister's diplomacy has focused on the smaller nations in the region as well. That has been a very concerted effort from the Modi government. We continue with these live visuals and much more. For now, very quick break. We'll be right back. Do stay with us.